Enchanted Emerald. This is Melissa bringing you another reading, and this is going to be for today, March 8th, 2022. And as I look at the energy here, as always, I use the traditional Rider-Waite deck. We have the Hanged Man coming out with the Page of Wands, rounding out the energy, of course, with that Ten of Swords. So that looks a little bit bleak there, but we do have some endings coming in, right? We have a new beginning that is taking shape here, okay? What I do feel is highlighted here is our perspective. What is happening is our perspective is being called into the forefront of everything. And so that's what we're going to have to take a look at. It's perhaps going to be shifting as we step into this new beginning. And I do feel as though you could be in a situation where you are feeling like you're floating in a boat out in the middle of the ocean without a paddle, right? You might feel a little bit disempowered, feeling like you are unable to control where it is that you are going, what your destination is, right? You feel as though you can't steer the boat. You're just kind of going where the current takes you, right? You feel maybe a little bit lost or maybe a little bit stuck maybe at the moment, right? Well, this comes in with a little bit of, feeling like this is a very difficult situation and it's going to take some time for you to get out of. But I feel as though you've been preparing for this mentally for a while, and now you feel like this is time for me to do something, time for me to take some action, to get myself out of this situation. What am I going to do? And so I feel like this comes in with this feeling that because you've been out kind of floating in this boat in the ocean for a while, you feel like I have no other choice but to make things happen, right? Maybe you feel backed into a corner, feeling as though this is something you have to do for yourself. And so now you are shifting from this disempowered feeling into this empowered feeling, right? You're stepping into your power because you know you have to make things happen for yourself. You know you cannot stay in this stagnant situation anymore. There's no growth here for you. It's starting to feel uncomfortable because it's kind of been worn out and old for you for a long time, right? You've been wanting this change for so long. I do feel like it's almost so old and so worn out for you that it's a difficult situation. It comes in with this like dire feeling, like I can no longer do this. It is affecting my psyche, right? Where it's affecting you maybe in a physical way. You're storing stress, right? Maybe you get stomach aches or something like that, right? A psychosomatic type of thing because the stress is affecting you so much from staying in this situation. Or maybe it's affecting you on a spiritual or emotional level where maybe you cry, right? Or maybe you are just feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and just feel like I can't do this anymore, right? And so this is where you're starting to feel these pronounced effects on your psyche, and so this is moving you to take some action. And that's not a bad thing, right? Understand that this is going to be a little bit of a situation where there could be some dramatics, right, coming in. A little bit of like a theater, I feel, with this coming in with this ending, because old habits die hard, right? Excuse me. So, I do feel like this could go out with a bang, right? Where you could really be shifting into this new beginning, and so this isn't something that you want to be in anymore, but also change is really uncomfortable. And so it's almost like a little kid, right, going into this change, almost like I don't want to do this, but you want it, right? And so it's almost like this tantrum that we kind of throw, right? And so whether that is this dramatics that comes in, maybe there's this like blowout argument that you have with somebody. Maybe this is your own grieving process, and so you build your own resistance where you're introducing some sort of a psychological like self-sabotage, as every step of the way you're like yes, I made it this far, and you took one step forward but also two steps backward, right? Like, and so you're kind of, doing this dance a little bit. So just be mindful of that, right? But be easy and gentle and kind to yourself as well, and recognizing some of these things as you start to take those steps. All right, I do feel like part of this is there's a potential that's like hidden within you or buried within you, and I feel like there's a bit of a shame kind of maybe associated with that, in terms of maybe you are fearful, right? Maybe you are scared to really unleash your potential. Maybe you're fearful of your full potential being unleashed. Maybe you're scared about what other people would think of you. Maybe you're fearful of stepping into your true power, right? I do feel like some of these things could be innermost desires that you've had for a while, where you do want to do all of these things, but at somewhere along the way, maybe you started to follow that path, and then you kind of called it quits, right? I hear like that's a wrap. So you kind of called it quits on yourself. You took a different path somewhere along the way, and now these old desires are starting to like resurface within you. They're like bubbling up like within you, like this nagging feeling like there's something more, this nagging feeling like I have to get back to that. I have to see what that was about. I have to follow through with that, because I'm starting to feel regret for not following through with that. And so it's something from a long time ago, and now this dream is starting to resurrect itself, in terms of you see this vision unfolding within, and so you're holding that in a high regard. And so this is all resurfacing, and understand that as you start to embrace some of this buried potential, right? You are really a force to be reckoned with. And I think you understand that. I think you know that. You have all of this power within you, and I'm getting so many chills for validation. I love this so much. So it is about learning how to channel that power, and how to put that into a constructive means, and not, have it be into some sort of dramatics, right? Or into some drama, right? I feel as you step into your power, there can be like a great leadership role that comes out of that. But there's also this like a double-edged sword almost, where there's this a potential to overuse that or misuse that in a way that isn't as constructive as it would hope, as it should be used, maybe, right? And so I think that that's something to be mindful of. I also do feel that there's some anger that kind of bubbles up with that as well. I do feel like you're going to have some harsh truths or realities to kind of embrace along the way, as you start to embrace some of that, and understanding yourself more as a result of that, right? So whether this is a harsh truth or reality coming in, where you are embracing yourself, your limitations, right? Or maybe there's a reality that you start to embrace that, gosh, I love this, and I feel like maybe I wasted time with doing this other path, and maybe you have some regrets, like I shouldn't have done this other path, and there's this whole bubbling up of like, I shouldn't have done that, right? But understand that we all have this free will, and we're all supported by the universe, and we all have lessons from every situation that we go through. So don't regret that at all, right? This is about learning to be forgiving for yourself and grieving for this part of you that you are now going to start to embrace fully, right? Rekindling that passion, stepping into that power, being bold, right? And I do feel as though what you think is a priority now is probably going to be changing. So, I feel like those are some of the things that you're going to be kind of learning along the way. But I do feel like this is really getting in touch with what you feel happiness is, because I feel like you're going to be redefining. Like maybe you defined happiness a certain way when you were younger, and now that you've grown through that other path, you've gotten a lot more life lessons under your belt, and you've grown at an emotional level, and you see things differently, right? Some of our perspectives have changed, and so now you might define happiness a little bit differently, right? So maybe in the past it was very simple for you. You're just like, okay, to be happy, I want a house, I want 2 kids, you know, that kind of thing, right? And now you realize that it's shifting, that that is no longer something that just keeps you rooted and grounded and happy, that there's this inner feeling of, gosh, there's got to be something more. Gosh, there's got to be something that I'm supposed to be doing. So you're feeling this soul level tugging at you that you just can't ignore anymore, right? And that's your calling, right? That's your intuition speaking to you. That is your intuition guiding you, because we all can take these different paths along our way, and that's okay, right? Because that's our free will, and we're able to take those paths. And as we get to a certain point in our life, there will be things that we should have accomplished or we should be doing. And so that nagging will get a little bit stronger as we go through more time. And so maybe now this is your season, this is your time. And so that might be getting a little bit stronger. So you have to kind of regroup, rekindle, get back to that. And so this is where you might be thinking about, you know, maybe in the past you felt like this path would be a burden. Maybe you felt as though you were a burden. Maybe you felt as though these gifts that were bestowed to you were a burden. And now, so that could be also part of that harsh truth or that reality, right? Recognizing that there's a need to embrace this, right? This is about being very noble, being very courageous. This is a big picture situation, because it's about you, but it's not about you, right? And this is totally what you came here for. So this is really about letting go of expectations that you've placed upon yourself or that others have placed upon you. And so this is first and foremost being noble in that you are holding yourself in high regard, right? Where you know, this is what I have to do. I have to honor my path. I have to honor my truth. I have to honor how I'm feeling, right? Even if it doesn't look like what it should, you know, or should, according to what others would say. And so you're going to follow your path, even if it seems, you know, to be deemed or labeled as silly or crazy or anything of that nature, right? If somebody says, that's not right for you, you know, if they're placing their worries or their expectations or their fears, remember that that is their reflection. That is a reflection of them and their state and where they are. And that doesn't have to be your story, right? And so if you're leaving a job after you've been there for, say, 15 years, and, you know, you're going to go start something new, you know, there are probably going to be people that will say to you, why are you doing that, right? But this is not about them. It is about you. And so you're no longer ignoring your intuition. You are deciding, this is what is for me now, right? Because the world is changing, and so you too are changing. Our growth is you know, we are leveling up, right? It is a time for us to step up and grow, and as we build new things in this world. And so this is where we are all headed, and so this is what you are choosing to do for you. And so that's first and foremost, right? Holding yourself in high regard. Then it's holding your vision or your dream in high regard. So when all of these things start to resurface and all of these memories of the past resurface, and you know, you start to rekindle your passions, don't let anybody undermine your accomplishments that you've made along the way either, right? Because Yes, you might be starting new, you might be starting fresh. This is a new beginning for you. There's so much to learn and so much to grow into. Understand that that doesn't make you any less than anybody else, even though you're still learning, or you are going to be learning, right? And so it is about understanding that you've come a long way and that there's still a whole other long way to go, but that doesn't mean that you're less valuable as a person, right? And so taking that experience that you've had from the past and incorporating that into your new journey, right? What have you learned from that path? Like, there was, every season there's a reason, right? And so there was a purpose for that. There was a reason that you felt called to do that. You made it through that, and now it is time to apply those rules, apply those lessons, right? Your own personal rules into your new path, into your new journey, right? And so then understanding too that it is about you protecting your dream, your vision, your peace at all costs. And so I feel like as you move through this and you start to follow your intuition, that nagging sense of do this, do this, do this, do this, is going to start to ease within you, because you're going to start to follow that, right? And then you're going to start to see the signs showing up for you, that you are fully supported by spirit along the way, which is a beautiful process. Understand that this is, yes, about you. This is exactly what you came for. It is between you and God, all right? And I feel like it is about changing your life, but it is about changing lives. So everything that you are doing, it is life-changing for you, but in the end, your process is going to be very inspiring for other people. You are going to be impacting many lives. So just be mindful on the world stage how you appear to other people, right? And so understanding that you are a role model of a sort, and so that you can't afford to not step into this path, right? This is so much more important. This is you being God's helper. It's so much more important than you are placing on your own personal journey, right? This is bigger than you. And so as you step into this, understand that this dream was placed upon your heart for a reason, and this is now your season, okay? And so how will you show up for yourself in this season? That is the question that is posed to you at this time. So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. How are you showing up for yourself in this season? And if you are questioning, if you still have some questions, if you have some doubts, if you need to talk it out, I'm here for you. If you want your own personal reading, I'd love to be able to do that for you. You can hit me up in the messenger on Facebook, or you can book a reading with me at the square site in the description box below here on YouTube, or you can email me at enchantedemeraldny@gmail.com. And if you're just looking for a healing to just move past all of this stuck energy and into a fresh start, I am here for that as well. So as always, I will be back with another reading for you guys again soon. Thank you so much for listening, and have a phenomenal day. Take care.